Teddy, darling. Teddy, would you like to come over? Yes. There we go. All right.
Hi.
Good. Well done. So, are you ready to introduce the show with me? Are you ready to do some introductions? Maybe it might be good for you to sit up so that we can see you on camera. Do you want to sit up? No, you don't want to sit up. Okay, then. Do you remember how it goes? Yeah, okay. So it goes, hello and welcome to Pet Talk with me, Anna, and this is where you see, yeah, that's right, and Teddy. Oh, welcome. And so now we are going to introduce our guest. Do you remember? She's very good with horses. Do you remember? Do you remember her name? That's right. It's Hannah Jones. Hello, Hannah.
Hello. He's so cute.
He's he's so brilliant at speaking on cue. He really so you are a I'm going to start again. You are an equine um consultant. So, and which means that you are working with horses and you are healing. You have a wonderful Saber Holistics company. And I'd like for you maybe to tell us about how you came into this very holistic approach to healing before we even talk about anything else.
So basically, I came into it through my own medical condition, and allopathic medicine just didn't help me, didn't resonate with me. So I was basically diagnosed when I was 20, and it was what they called an incurable condition. So none of the medications would help me. So I basically had to become my own doctor, do my research, and holistic therapies is what got me better. So from that, I then started using the holistic therapies that worked with me with my horse Phoenix, and I just loved her responses to it. And from then, I basically qualified in Reiki first. I then went on to do the Masterson method. From that, because I was seeing so many horses with sore backs from poor saddle fit, I then became a remedial saddle fitter. And then I just kept going on courses basically. And I have gone deeper into the trauma of it, really trauma release, and I use lots of different modalities, and I have a retreat where the horses can come and just have a safe space for them to let go, to heal. And that's probably one of my favorite things to do when it's one-on-one with the horse and we have time, so they'll be here for at least a week. So that's basically how it all started.
I love that you have retreats for horses. I think that's just wonderful. So, this is what really impressed me when I was looking into your work is that you are using healing therapies that worked on you.
Mhm.
And that it's that approach to healing which you're finding is the secret of your success with horses. And I think people will have heard of Reiki,
Mhm.
but what is Masterson method?
So the Masterson method is a form of body work, and it was developed by Jim Masterson, who observed vets, physios, chiros, farriers, and from his observations, he basically would really notice what the horses were doing, how they were releasing, what they were releasing, and developed his own method. And I absolutely love it because you do it with the horse, not to the horse. It's very non-invasive but extremely effective. And it is based on energy work as well because you really slow down and tune in with the horse when you do it, and you're talking to every cell in the body. You're releasing pain, tension, restriction, and it basically releases tension in the whole body and just helps horses to move better, feel better. Their mobility improves, their performance improves, and it's just an amazing modality.
I love that you're talking about communicating with the cells in the body. Tell us more about that because that's something that seems a very outlandish claim to the average person, but I find it incredibly exciting and I'd love to know more.
Yeah, so basically, it's bringing awareness to the area in the body that needs the help. And when I start working with a horse, first I tune in with them energetically, and I will be drawn to the area of their body that needs the most help at that time. And from there, I'll start with the healing work first. And I work in layers, and the Masterson does the same. It works in layers. So basically, you obviously start with the skin, then the fascia, then the superficial muscles, the deep muscles, the skeletal system, the nervous system. And that's what I love about it so much. It works with every system in the body. And it is like your hands are literally talking to the cells underneath you. And it's all about energy work and vibration. And the basically the vibration of the cells, what they need, and you're just helping them to let go and release.
So, in essence, this is also going to be very useful where there is trauma stored in the muscles,
Yeah,
which brings us to the saddle fitting and the remedial work that you do. It's all linked.
it's all linked. Yes, absolutely. Um, the saddle fitting is extremely important because really horses' bodies and backs weren't actually designed to be ridden on. And it's even more important that the correct saddle is fitted to that horse and to really make sure they can move freely. It's not causing any restriction, any pain. The spine has got clearance, the shoulder has got clearance, the saddle is short enough for them. And it's just crucial because we are asking them to carry us. And it would be like a saddle not fitting would be like putting really poor fitting shoes on ourselves. So, and even worse because it's their back. And obviously a crucial part of their system, their mobility. So it's something I'm really passionate about, and that's what I include when the horses come to the retreat, or I do holistic days, 3 hour sessions, because what I do can't really be condensed. So that's why I've kind of developed the sessions as they are.
I, you know, it's funny because you were talking about the shoes, which is exactly what I thought about was, fitting, the importance of shoes that fit and how we can't walk properly unless we have them. And the thing is that in humans, if our feet are compromised, our whole posture is compromised and our knees are compromised, everything's compromised. So it's a really good analogy. And I was also thinking about harnesses on dogs, the importance of a well-fitted harness. So huge. Again, it's so basic, isn't it? But we don't think about these things as much as we should. We're thinking about, the way things look. We're thinking about, our comfort, and we forget that we need to be asking questions about the comfort of the animals that we're putting these things on.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so this is obviously really important. I've got some statements here from your website, which I wrote down because I was so impressed by them. And I'd like you to, if you can, to talk us through some of them. And the first one, I believe the spiritual foundation is the key to true health and happiness. And again, this is one where somebody might raise their eyebrows and say, spiritual foundation for horses? Explain, please, Hannah.
So horses are incredibly spiritual and sentient beings, and they basically operate on a very high energetic frequency, and that's the frequency that they belong on. And if they aren't living at that frequency, they are not able to be fully themselves or be in their optimum health, be the happiest they can be. So for them, literally, their spirituality is their foundation. So that's what you need to look after first. And basically, the way the issues begin, they will begin spiritually first or in their spirit, then their emotions, and then their physical body. And from my experience and all the research I've done, and it happened to me, the emotions and trauma I had caused the physical ailments in my body. And because I didn't deal with them at the time, or I didn't know how to process them, it built up in my body. So that's exactly what can happen with horses as well. So a lot of horses aren't actually connected with themselves, and that is absolutely crucial. And it is just massively missed in the horse world.
Okay, so I think that bears some explanation. A lot of horses are not really connected with themselves.
Mhm.
Could you tell us what you mean by that?
Yeah, so basically, we all have a spirit and a soul. And thank you, Stormy. Stormy agrees. Come here. Thank you. So basically, we have to be open spiritually to allow us to connect with our spirit selves. And so our spirit and our soul is within our bodies. And what can happen is horses can actually detach. And when they do, that's when you know the horse is shut down. So if you've got a shut down horse, you know they're not connected with themselves. So that's the number one thing I do when I come to a new horse. I do what's called a spirit session. And within that session, I will check if they're connected with themselves. If they're not, I have to reconnect them. And in that session, we do healing, we do trauma release. I can look at their body energetically. So for me, that's definitely where it all starts, because that's where it started with me as well. Um, and I resonate with them really strongly because I'm a highly sensitive person and I'm highly spiritual as well. So I just really resonate with them on that level because I kind of have the same thing. I've got to be operating at that level and spiritually healthy to then thrive in every other area in my life.
Okay, so I'm just taking what you're saying in, and people will understand the concept of being shut down.
Mhm.
This is extreme depression, and we see it in dogs when they shut down because of trauma. And it means they're virtually non-responsive, or they can become aggressive. And this is exactly the same for us as human beings.
Mhm.
And I think it makes complete sense that any sentient being would shut themselves down out of a sense of protection. But what you're saying is that when we shut ourselves down, when horses shut themselves down, it means that we are no longer very connected to our bodies. We've lost body awareness. And that's because, that spirit part of us
Mhm.
has basically taken flight to a certain extent, at least, and is not fully embodied because it's just too painful. Okay.
Yes.
You also talked about them being at a high frequency, and I
Mhm.
think you need to explain what you mean by that.
Mhm. So basically, it's hard to put it in words, isn't it? Because a lot of this is about energy and feeling, and how do you put that into words? Basically, they need to be connected and open spiritually to connect to spirit, and they are very telepathic in nature as well. And to be able to do that and be the healers that they are, because horses are just magical beings, they're natural healers. And to be the healer, they need to be able to accept that frequency into their body so that they can heal their own body. And of course, heal us as well, because they're always healing us. So, really, to be fair to them, they need spiritual health and help because we ask so much of them. We've domesticated them, and just too many of them have lost that connection. So it's all, how can I describe it? It's a bit like, I suppose, one analogy would be um, tuning into a radio station. And you know, when it's sometimes crackly or fuzzy, that's kind of how it can be for them until you do hit the right numbers or frequency. I think that's maybe the easiest way to describe it.
Yes, and I think that more and more people are aware that certain frequencies are good for us and some of them are not. So, for instance, LED lights we know are not a good frequency for us.
Yeah.
We know that EMFs are not a good frequency for us or for plants, actually. So, this is scientific fact. We know this. And so, this is about matching the the frequency that is right for us as humans, which is probably not going to be that far from what's right for um, other living beings,
Yeah.
and horses would be included in that. So when when they are able to be at their in their natural frequency, this is when they are happiest, most comfortable, and open, and that makes sense because we also know that frequency can be used to heal and also can cause harm, and frequency can be used as a weapon. There's plenty of evidence for that, and,
Yeah.
and can cause things like tinnitus in
Mhm.
its mildest form.
Mhm.
So it's a very interesting um, perspective that you're taking. We also know that light therapy works because light therapy is frequency. So all of these things add up to making sense of what you're saying. Horses naturally vibrate at a certain frequency.
Mhm.
If they are traumatized in any way, the frequency, because you were talking about it being a high frequency, so I'm just going to say it drops. They're no longer at that high frequency, and their suffering is huge. And then it means that they stop being fully embodied in the same way that we stop being fully embodied. Um,
Yeah.
and it's harmful. Well, thank you for that. That's really interesting
Of
and
course.
very important that we understand that. And you've already talked about the second thing that you I was going to ask about on your website, which you say that illness is about an imbalance in emotions.
Yeah.
We know that's the case with people too. If we are conflicted, if we are not in line with what we believe to be right and true, that causes stress because we are conflicted. So it's lovely to see this very gentle approach and understanding being applied to our beautiful equine friends.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the other statement that I thought was lovely is you say, "I believe everyone has the ability to do this work."
Mhm.
So how is that possible? You've done loads of training. How is it possible? You
That's
yourself are sensitive. You've lived through this, everybody. Tell us more, please, Hannah.
that's a really, really great question. So everybody can do this work with the horses, be in that beautiful, energetic bubble with them where you can both truly be yourselves, be in the present moment, and bring in that healing energy. However, you have to do the work on yourself to be able to help your horse to the best of your ability. You have to have healed yourself, dealt with your trauma, or at least healing it and dealing with it. Um, we definitely do not have to be perfect and have to have released it all. But as long as we have started the journey, because it's a journey for us, just like it's a journey for them. So it's really important that we are aware of our own kind of ailments, energy, and basically on the healing path to ensure our health, our energy, our emotions are in balance, and especially our nervous system. Horses respond, they're very tuned into the nervous system. So if you, for example, are a very anxious person, you're always rushing around, you don't take any time for yourself, your horse will then not be able to be in the present moment with you because you are not in the present moment. And actually, a lot of people are shut down themselves. So that is basically then going to make it easier for the horse to become shut down. So everybody can do this. And that's why I launched my course, because I would love holistic care to be in every horse's routine, whether that's offering essential oils, doing energy work, meditation, releasing their spine. It's all in there. And that's what I would just love people to kind of go on the journey themselves, but go on the journey with their horse together, because effectively it heals the person as well as the horse. And I think it's actually really crucial for um, that partnership. I think a lot of people are wanting with their horse but can't quite reach, and they just might not know what the missing piece is. So, really, the course kind of fills in those missing pieces and helps the relationship with your horse be as strong as possible. And when you really dive into it and go really deep, that's when you can be on the same energy frequency with your horse. That's when you can really start listening to them more, be in the present moment with them more, and actually communicate with them, because we all have the ability. It's just how far along we are on our own healing journey, how open we are. And so, yeah, basically, my mission is to improve the relationships and just help people find another way, because the horse world can be very energetically dense and it can really be a struggle. So, if somebody is looking for another way and a lighter way to do things, this would be something that they would love. And the horses absolutely love it. And I've had cases where I've had a client in America, and basically the horse was very anxious. He wasn't connected with himself. He had a lot of trauma, and he just couldn't connect with her. He would never come to greet her when she went to the yard. And the end result after her working through the course was he would actually come up to the gate when he heard her car, and he would be asking the question, "What are we doing today, Mum? Are we doing oils? Are we doing healing? What are we doing?" He was really interested in interactive, and wanted that connection with her. And isn't that what it's all about? That connection and love that we have with them and for them.
Just listening to you, I'm thinking about, in general, the relationship between humanity and animals,
Mhm.
and how sad it is that for so many people, it is still about what they can get from the animal.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
really, this is a power relationship, and it's about um, dominating the
Mhm.
animal. And you still see that in the dog world, with trainers who are still using very cruel methods for training.
Mhm.
I think that there's less and less of them. But then you've got the ones who call themselves balanced trainers
Mhm.
and still want to justify punishment.
Mhm.
Um, and then you have the more mechanistic reward-based systems. And it's all about what we want from the animal rather than, and I'm glad to say that there are more and more dog behaviorists who are thinking in a properly dog-centered care
Mhm.
sense. Um, and and in the horse world, because there's so much money
Yeah.
attached to the performance of the horse, I think horses are still possibly in a worse situation than dogs. So to see you taking this approach is beautiful. And what you said about the importance of us doing this ourselves is huge, because shut down humans are definitely not going to see the animal. They're going to want what they can
Yeah.
get from the animal.
Yeah.
And so, really, it seems to me that there are many of us who are in that halfway sense that we want to connect,
Mm.
but we're not in the best state ourselves and don't know how to connect with ourselves. So, it's hard to connect with animals.
Yeah, of
So, to
course.
do this course with you, I think would be magical, because it will help human and horse alike. So, I love that.
Thank you.
I think at this point it would be lovely to get your website and how people can find you, because we've made a fantastic case for everyone who has a horse in their lives to go and find you. So how do they do that?
Thank you. So I'm Sabre Holistics on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And my website is sabre-holistics.com. And I think I think that's everything. Oh, the course is saberonlinecourses.com. And I've got a range of courses. You can choose what level you want to do. And because of exactly what we've talked about, I've actually launched a program purely to help the horse owner first. So they can do a 6 or 12 week program with me to basically release the blocks, raise their energy, clear their energy, and get them into a really good place so that they are then approaching their horse in a completely different way. And that alone will completely change the dynamic. And what I've really learnt over the years is that your horse reflects back to you who you are. And I've learnt that more and more. Um, so, of course, the more we are able and willing to look at ourselves and help ourselves, even that intent is going to help your connection with your horse. But of course, the real work is showing up for yourself, doing the techniques that help, doing the releases that help, finding somebody to help you, and then going on to help your horse and doing the course with your horse. Because I just would love to see more connected horses and riders, owners, whatever you do with them, because it's just devastating to see when that's not there, but it's available. So, yeah, that's my mission, to help horses and owners be who they truly are and who they want to be and have that connection of a lifetime, because it's possible.
And I can think of no more noble cause. So I want to thank you very much, Hannah. All the links will be in the description box. So do please find Hannah and help yourself and your horse. I'll also, in the description box, be putting a link to a workshop that I'm doing in coming up in April to help people be more grounded, which is exactly what we're talking about as well. So there are different routes to this, and Hannah's is a beautiful one if you've got a horse in your life. And mine is also very helpful, whether you have a horse, a dog, or whoever it is you want to be more connected with. In the description box, you'll also find a link to my Substack, which does have the occasional story about the adventures of Teddy and Mummy. Until next time, goodbye.